Greetings, dear listeners. I often see comments asking how I manage not to remain anonymous both online and in real life. Today we'll touch on a crucial topic, as the issue of security concerns everyone who has tied their fate to our industry. Remember, you can subscribe to the channel by enabling VPN. Enjoy watching. It's important to understand that once you embark on this path, life instantly turns into that of an undercover agent. Your life is over if you're exposed, right? The only difference is that an agent has a mission, and once completed, they return to a normal open life with friends and family. But you, my friend, do not. You must have a beautiful cover story, fitting your skills and knowledge. A cover story is needed to justify your income and lifestyle. You must at least have some understanding of the theme of the fictional mission. It doesn't matter what alter ego you choose for yourself, businessman or astrologer, miner or trader. The main thing is that those around you have no doubts that you are who you claim to be. Remember, everything else is useless without a strong, believable cover story and the ability to keep your emotions in check and your mouth shut. Well, let's assume you have a cover story that even tightrope walkers would envy. But we live in the digital age, and you must understand that every step you take is recorded. Visits to websites, ordering food or a taxi, listening to your favorite track, or watching a spicy video. All of this is recorded and stored. Knowledge accumulates and is then actively used by interested parties. It would be good to have an idea of who collects this data and what information about yourself you provide them. These collectors can be roughly divided into three groups. The first is digital device and software vendors: Apple, Google, Samsung, Xiaomi, Microsoft, Yandex. They are well known. These guys know everything. But to them, you are an anonymous buyer. They are interested in selling you along with millions of others to advertisers. The second group is providers. Data about you is practically useless to them, but they are forced to collect it because above them is the third most dangerous group for you, my dear friend. Government agencies like the FSB, FBI, NSA, MI6, and so on. They closely cooperate with both vendors and providers. These guys are very interested in ensuring that the anonymous user, DFeesMe555GA, acquires a residential address, phone number, passport data, a couple of photos, a voice sample, fingerprints, and so on. How can you protect yourself from these prying eyes? Alas, completely disappearing is almost impossible, but you can blend in with the crowd as an ordinary person and hide criminal activity from observers. First, you should have a separate device or devices through which you will conduct your activities. It can be a smartphone, tablet, computer, or laptop. It doesn't matter. The main thing is to use it only as a work tool. Second, secure communication. Tor is a great solution, but Tor alone is not enough. The very fact of using the Tor browser is hard to reveal by the provider, so you should get a VPN. Be careful when choosing a VPN provider. Study the privacy policy and user agreement of the service you like. Check the news and the company's legal address. The company's office should be as far from your real location as possible, without servers in your country of residence. This will complicate obtaining information about you through the VPN service. Also, the company providing the service should not be mentioned in news related to cybercrime. Of course, everyone writes that they don't store anything about you, but you shouldn't take their word for it. The task of a VPN is to hide the fact of using Tor, no more. I also do not recommend using the same VPN for work and, for example, watching Netflix. Nothing personal should be transmitted through the VPN. You have a device, you've got communication. What's next? The operating system. On the work device, use Linux, Kali, Kodachi, Tails on the computer, Sailfish OS, Lineage OS, Ubuntu Touch on the phone. The topic of operating systems is too broad, and it won't be possible to cover it in detail in a casual conversation. For now, it's enough to grasp the main idea. Windows and Mac OS are created by companies that collect information about you. And they do it with your consent. Remember the accept button in the window with text you never read? What's left? Yes, the application, the tool you'll use to communicate and go online. There's no point in bothering with an operating system on which you'll then install Yandex browser, right? The main rules here are quite simple. Our blacklist includes applications created by commercial companies. Also included are services that use a phone number for identification. It's also advisable not to use new programs. They can easily become a trap for the trusting. What? You're asking what you can use then? Qtalks Jabber, Matrix for communication, Tor browser for surfing onion sites, LibreOffice as a replacement for Word, Excel, Electrum, a decent Bitcoin wallet. You can find more free programs on www.opensourcealternative.to or similar resources. Each of you, dear viewers, must remember, if you don't follow simple rules, you may attract attention. Suppose a fiasco happened and you got exposed somewhere. In this case, surveillance is set up to confirm or refute the emerging hypothesis. Surveillance varies, starting simply with those who walk around, recording all contacts and routes of the target, ending with technical surveillance. If your activity takes place in the darknet, special attention should be paid to technical surveillance. It comes in the following forms. First, phone tapping, targeting close relatives, a standard procedure for law enforcement agencies. It's also important to know that through a vulnerability in the 3G protocol, any phone can be turned into a microphone to listen to the surroundings. Second, reading messages and messengers. Keep in mind, WhatsApp is read like an open book, and Telegram is also easily read, although officially it doesn't release data and the information obtained cannot be used in court. Third, if the target lives in an apartment, you can rent a room above or below and drill a hidden camera into the target's apartment, or hang a microphone on the pipes and radiators in the riser to listen to what's happening in the target's yard. Fourth, if there is visual access to the window, there is equipment that uses a laser beam to read vibrations from the glass and recognize speech. Fifth, if the target uses Wi-Fi, a special vehicle can be parked in the yard, which, with special equipment, will replace the victim's Wi-Fi point and read the traffic. Similarly, this pattern reads signals from a wireless keyboard and headphones. Sixth, if the keyboard model is known, it creates specific interference after each key press. If you are close enough, you can read which keys the victim is pressing. What happens if you don't think for yourself? I recall a couple of cases from my memory. A romantic love story ended tragically for one of Hydra's moderators. A girl who had been working with the site's team for a long time managed to fall in love through correspondence with the owner of one of the shops. After a long correspondence, it was decided to take the relationship to another closer level of contact. They finally decided to meet. However, upon arrival at the designated airport, the moderator girl was met with two surprises. First, the romantic man, the shop owner, turned out to be a woman. The second surprise clearly impressed the girl no less. At the airport exit, the girl was met by law enforcement officers. As far as I know, a considerable sum was spent to save the love-struck moderator. Of course, her career in the marketplace was over. However, the moral of the story is not that. Never forget where you work. No matter how sweet and convincing the interlocutor's words are, first and foremost, remember one thing. This is the darknet, not a candy shop. So, today we touched on an important topic. The topic of security online and in real life. And in conclusion of this video, I would like to give you some sound advice. Whether you are a beginner or already established, always remember that any wrong step will lead to sad consequences. Your safety is solely in your hands, and only you determine how strong and impregnable the walls of your fortress will be, whether it's a residential home or a work computer. All the best to you. This was Professor Moriarty. See you soon.